Spend a power hour cleaning, doing laundry, and resetting for the week ahead with me. We're going to be changing beds, doing things to take care of our future selves, planning for the week, meal planning, and just generally getting ready for a successful week. I'm starting, as I often do, by putting on my indoor trainers, which I have convinced myself make me go faster and have more energy. Let me live my life. That's like what I've convinced myself. Placebo effect is real, okay? I'm going to put in an AirPod and some music or maybe a podcast, or you could just listen to a video like this while we tackle some mess together. So we're starting in my bedroom because it's a mess. There's some stuff left all over the place, and we need to be putting some things away. I'm going to be honest, some of these things have not yet been put away since we last went away. Things like the toothbrushes that had come out of the dishwasher need to go back in the case, so that's where they've gone. Now we're going to change my bed in a second, which is why it isn't made properly. But first, we're going to put away some of this swimwear that came out of the laundry from, I don't know, last trip or something. Now, under that bed does need a bit of a pull out and sort, but that declutter is a job for another day. Right now it's Sunday, and I tend to find that if I stick to doing certain things on certain days, then it makes life easier for my neurospicy ADHD brain. And by the way, how rude of myself. I haven't introduced myself. My name's Rhiannon Morgan. Everyone calls me Rhi. I make videos here on this channel about getting organised as a busy mum of four and a mum of four that also has ADHD. So some things that help me for the week, a lot of these things I do for myself as a gift to future me on the weekend, and a lot of which I'm going to share with you in this video. And one of the things is changing the bed. And it's just so nice getting into bed on a Sunday night with lovely clean sheets. Now, my children's beds we tend to do on either Friday night or Saturday. And if we do them all on the same day, it just causes this big backlog of washing. So you'll see in this video that I'm taking their clean bedding out because their beds were done yesterday, and we're just washing my bedding now. I have just the two sets of my bedding. We just have two sets of plain white, and they can all go in together. And then I've got one on, one in the wash. I do love this app that came with the washing machine when we changed it, because it pings me and tells me when the washing has finished, and then I can actually remember to go and take it out of the machine, because hello ADHD brain, otherwise it sits there for ages and I may forget to take it out the machine, and then you think, oh, have I got to wash it again? How long has it been sitting there? So having that little nudge reminder is great. We're going to put the girls' bedding away. I like to put the bedding into the washing machine with the buttons or poppers done up so that nothing gets stuck inside of it. And then when it's clean and dry, I fold the sets up and I put them inside of the matching corresponding pillowcase so that it's easy to find the set. Because the kids have various different sets. They have more like pattern bedding and themes and things. So this is my little airing cupboard area downstairs in my laundry room area. It's just two poles between the wall and the calyx unit that you can kind of see on the right-ish hand side of the screen. And this is where I hang things, because there is a radiator you can see on the left-hand side. I hang things in here that need drying but can't go in the tumble dryer. And we don't dry things outside because, number one, I live in Wales. It rains a lot. Even in the summer, it can randomly rain. And number two, bird poop. If birds poop on my washing, I've got to wash it again. I'm going to cry. So it's much easier for me to just hang it up in here, close the door on it, and then it dries quite quickly if it's warm. And then obviously it dries quite quickly if the heating is on. So it's just that in betweeny time, it takes a bit longer to dry. And I'm going to give the laundry to the kids to put away, and let's get out my bedding. And I like to put the bedding back on as quickly as possible. I literally only went downstairs to put that load of laundry on because I thought, do you know what? The washing machine may as well be working while I am working, because that's multitasking, people. That is multitasking. So I'm going to put the bedding back on, because there is nothing more depressing than going up to bed and realizing you've stripped the bed and haven't put it back. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I've got this chore to do now. And if you've got a big bed, I think this is just a king size bed, but it's like a workout, isn't it? It's quite an energetic thing to do. And when you are ready for bed, you want to be getting into bed. You want that bed to be lovely. And also it really annoys me if people put things on the bed and the bed's not made, and because you can't wash the bed itself as easily. So at least if something gets put on the bed sheets, then, you can wash those. This is my silky pillowcase. I put that for when I'm making the bed. It goes underneath a normal pillowcase for all, I don't know, matches, I suppose. But I like the silky pillowcase because apparently it helps keep your hair from going frizzy. It's better for your skin, all that kind of stuff. So I love that. But yeah, I do put it under a standard pillowcase for when I'm making the bed so it looks nicer. So as I am making this bed, I'm unpoppering it because I had to pop it back up to, to put it in the wash. As I'm making the bed, I'm going to tell you I have got something for you. I have got my organised weekly planning system checklist. And if you go to mummyoffour.com/plan week, then that is the checklist that I follow every single week in order to plan my weeks ahead for success. This forms part, not all of, I'm showing you some of the weekend reset elements in this video, but that planning forms part of everything I do inside of my weekend reset every single week. This is crease releaser, by the way. I do not iron bedding. I just spray on some crease releaser, smooth it down, and it's good enough, especially since there's scatter cushions on the bed. There is a throw covering half of it. So I just spray this stuff and just sort of smooth it down, leave the window open for a bit, and then don't put the throws and things back on until it's fully dry, and that works fine. Anyway, something I have got for you if you are inside my Organised Life Club. My Organised Life Club, by the way, is the place to be if you want help and support planning, making your life easier, especially if you are in a neurospicy, or as I like to call my family, a neurosparkly family like mine. I have 4 children with autism. I have ADHD. So inside of the Organised Life Club, we do monthly planning parties where we hold each other accountable. We plan for the week. There's loads of printables to guide you through everything. And I've also got my Organised Life System, and that's a series of workshops. And the workshop for September 2025, which if you're watching in the future, you can just watch on replay, is my weekend reset system. And that has got the workbook to take you through the entire system. And that will help you just go through everything you need to do in your home to reset your life for the week ahead. Because ultimately, people struggle with, and I'm saying people because this is something I've struggled with over the years myself. People struggle with morning routines, evening routines, especially when you've got multiple kids or you've got kids with additional needs. But for success in the mornings and the evenings, you need to have the stuff done on the weekend. And a lot of the stuff is in this free weekly planning checklist. You can grab that checklist. You can go to mummyoffour.com/plan week and grab that checklist now. But then all the rest of the printables I'm showing you here are inside of my Organised Life Binder starter pack. And you can go to mummyoffour.com/binder to see all of the different elements of how to build your own binder. But the starter pack is available inside of my Organised Life Club, and that's what I go through and I fill out. You can see I'm filling it out now. I fill all that out every single weekend, and it changes the game. It changes the game for the week ahead because it means the evenings and the mornings are so much smoother with kids. The routines are so much easier because I've set them up for success. So the checklist, go grab it now, mummyoffour.com/plan week, and that is completely free. You can work through that. And then if you want the printables, you can come join me inside of the Organised Life Club. Would love to have you. It'd be great to hang out there, and you can access all the workshops, the resources and things to help you in all elements of your life. Now, this is something I've only started doing recently. I used to do this years ago, and I started doing it again, and it's such a game changer. If, like me, now I am nearly 42 at the time of recording this, I'm taking a lot of different supplements and things. So these are multivitamins, specifically women's multivitamins. I take mushroom gummies and probiotics. I have ADHD medication. I'm still taking hay fever medication at the moment in September because I'm scared to stop taking it in case I turn all snivelly and itchy eyes. Does anyone know how long you should take that for? Because I'm reasonably new to hay fever, as in only the last few years I've really suffered from it. Someone did say last year that maybe you should start taking hay fever medication earlier in the year before the symptoms start, and that really helps. So I might try that. But long story short, I've been just taking literally a couple of minutes to use this little pill sorter, which I will link below in the blog post where I'm showing you everything else. There's always a blog post to go with my videos. I'll link that little pill box for you because it's the best one I've found. It's brilliant. You just take it with you, pop it in your handbag if you've got some that you take later in the day. It's great. Next, we're going to the organisation station inside of my kitchen, and I got some free printables for you for this as well. It's freebie-tastic in this video. Anyway, my organisation station is a series of boards. I actually use A4 frames. They're sort of like certificate frames. I have everything linked if you follow that link. But yes, they're certificate frames, just A4 frames. And I write on them in board markers, as in whiteboard markers. And I've got 4 different boards I keep in the kitchen. So 2 of them are more like an overview board, what's coming up this month and next month, and what's coming up this week. And that's an at a glance what's coming up this week for the family, things like karate, swimming, ballet, all the things. I clean them off. You can just use a dry eraser and things, but I find you do need to give it a bit more something to get the whiteboard marker off these compared to a whiteboard. So I just use a tiny little bit of these magic erasers, which are great, by the way, for getting just marks off things. So I just damp this little tiny sponge and it comes off great. So then the other 2 boards I have are my meal plan board, which I then copy the meal plan from my binder onto the meal planning board. So my husband and children know what is coming when it comes to food and what we're going to have for the week. The children like to know what to expect, and if it is my husband that gets home before me because I'm still out with the children, he knows what I've bought and meal plan, so he knows what to start preparing. So that is why I copy the meal plan onto the organisation station. But there's also another board, which you can see on the far left of your screen, and that is a shopping list. And I know I could just keep a shopping list on my phone and things, but what I was finding was happening, because I do, by the way, as an aside, I do also put notes and reminders on my phone for if I'm not in the kitchen, and I also jot things in my binder. But what I was finding was happening is that my family members would be like, Mum, we're out of this. And then they'd shout that from another room, think they've told me. And if I have not written something down or stuck it straight into the grocery app or straight into a reminder to ping and remind me to do something, it doesn't exist. There you go. That's all filled out and completed. Lovely. So yeah, it doesn't exist. So now I say, don't tell me, write it on the shopping list, and then I know what I need to buy. So I've already done the meal plan. I did that based on the planning I was doing for what's coming ahead. Again, I go into all of this in a lot more detail in other videos about the actual planning for the week, and in that printable, which you can grab. I go into a bit more detail of the kind of things you need to go through, and inside of my Organised Life Club, or you could just buy it as a standalone, the Organised Life Binder Starter Pack has all the printables I work through. But basically I just see what's going on in the week ahead, and then I see what's in the cupboard. So that's what you just saw me doing just a minute ago. And then based on what we've got in stock and which meals I've decided to make, which will be based on what we've got in stock and where everyone's going to be, I then see what I need to buy. So just need to wash out these bottles that have been dumped here. These really should have been done on Friday, not left in bags. But never mind, we're doing them now. Better late than never, and definitely better than on Monday morning. This is the gift of the weekend reset. It means that I'm not frantically on Monday morning going, where's this, where's that? Or more to the point, the children are like, where's this, where's that? Gives me a bit of time to get everything sorted. So those bottles are just going to dry. I'll put those away later. And now the kitchen's not looking too bad. I do reset the kitchen after every mealtime, and that is, again, a gift to future me. So I'm just going to put these snack pots, which have been washed out, in the children's bags. I'm checking through the kids' bags. I find if I do this on the weekend, then maybe we'll find something that's been there a few days, because ideally, in an ideal world, we check through the bags every night. In reality, does it happen every single night? No, but at least if we do it once a week, then we pull out any stuff, because otherwise you find if you don't check through the kids' bags enough, they'll be walking around with literal rocks in their bags. And you think, why is this so heavy? And they have stones and things in their bags that they've just collected, and they're carrying around all this stuff. So the bags are checked, the snack box are there, ready to put snacks in tomorrow. They're all clean. We're ticking things off my list as we go. It's very satisfying to tick things off. Little dopamine tick, 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 tick. Sort of my pills for the week. Now let's sort some more washing. Taking some stuff out to the dryer so we can make room in the dryer. Remembering to empty the dryer fluff filter thingy. I've got a little bin that I actually have on top of my tumble dryer. It's one of the upgrades I made when we moved to this house. I was just spending so much time walking from the dryer to the bin. I just thought I'll have a bin with the dryer. Now back upstairs, before I put the cushions and things back on the bed, I've noticed that the units in our bedroom are looking a bit grim. This is just a power hour. It's not like a full house clean, but I just want to give these units a bit of a spray because they're looking a bit dusty and gross. So we've got a bedside table either side of the bed that I'm just giving a little clean to. A clean to? That's not how you say that, is it? No, words, not wording. Anyway, these are just a little IKEA bedside cabinet things. We do have the glass tops, which keeps them nice, but I have noticed they're a bit grim and dusty. So let's just give them a little wipe so that when I go to bed tonight, for a nice, peaceful, relaxing Sunday night, I'll have clean sheets, nice clean room, starting fresh for the week. Now, a quick chat about the children and what they do and do not do. So the three who are still at home full time, I've got one that's 13, one that's 10, and one that's 8. So the one that's 13 can fully just change his own bed. And I say you can just, spray and wipe your own desk and stuff, and he can do that independently. The 10-year-old changes her own bed and does clean up after herself quite well. And my 8-year-old needs a bit more assistance with changing beds and things, but she definitely gets involved and she's getting so much better at doing those things. And I feel like the younger you at least get them involved in doing things rather than doing them completely for them, then the less resistance you face as they get older. So even though Zara's not capable of totally doing the entire bed herself, she needs some help either from siblings or from a parent. The fact that she's involved in it and not just totally absent from the process means that she's learning and she's just getting so much better at doing these things. And then those are life skills ultimately for when they do go to university. That changing the bed frequently is just going to be something they do because they're not used to having dirty sheets, and also they're not just used to having it done for them, and they're used to it being something that they do, and they're more likely to actually change their flipping sheets. We hope. I mean, we can't guarantee it, but we can hope. We can teach them the life skills, and then from there, they've got to just decide what to do with them. So we're going to quickly wipe over this windowsill and just super quickly do all this bit up here, which is the chest of drawer next to my dressing table. I do find that the more stuff I have on surfaces, which is why I love my kitchen surfaces to be clear as possible, the more stuff there is, the harder it is to wipe and clean. So the less likely you are to actually do it. And stuff attracts more stuff, clutter attracts clutter. But then I do have various bottles of things on my dressing table that I use. So, you've got to make it work for you wherever it works. But yeah, ideally, in an ideal world, clear surfaces everywhere. It's just easier to clean, isn't it? Less to move. So therefore, it's a 2-minute wipe, 10-second job, not even a 2-minute job, rather than an actual 2-minute job. We've got to move everything, clean it, and put it back. So this is the swimming bag. This was from one of our recent Disney cruises. I picked that up, and that's a nice big bag. So I'm just putting in, making sure we've got the swimming stuff, that's ready for the week. I've already checked with the kids. They've got their other kit for like dancing and karate and stuff. And now we're going to super quickly push the vacuum cleaner around. Now, I feel like in these cleans that we do together, especially if it's a power hour, you can kind of go broad or you can go deep. And this is very much a go broad. There are 3 fans there that need to be put up the attic, and I'm not even going to move them while I vacuum right now. I'm just going to vacuum around them because I really am running out of time. We have to go and do some other weekendy stuff with the kids that I'm absolutely here for. And if I was really super cleaning just this room, I'd pull everything out and make it super, I'm going to get in all the corners. That is not today's job. Today's job is to just get the worst of the sort of floor crumbs. Not that they're actually crumbs because we're only upstairs, so they're not actual food crumbs, but just the muck that gets walked through. And our bedroom is a bit of a high traffic area because the kids come in the mornings, the girls have their hair done in there. And we end up having to buy pet appropriate vacuum cleaners, even though we don't have pets because we all have long hair and the vacuums clog otherwise. So at this stage, I'm just doing what I can with the time I have left. Is it better to push the vacuum cleaner around imperfectly and to clean some of the floor rather than be like, oh, well, I can't pull it all out. I can't do every single skirting board and everything, so I'm not going to bother. Yes, it's obviously better to do something rather than nothing. And I haven't got much time. I haven't got time to pull everything out, but I can just do what I can. So that's what we're doing. And I think sometimes we need to give ourselves those brownie points and mental stickers for what we do manage to achieve even, and not beat ourselves up for what we do not manage to achieve. So Zara's room is reasonably tidy. It is not perfect, but it's reasonably tidy. You know, she's 8 and she has done a reasonable job of tidying it. I don't have time to fully go in and tidy it right now, but it's okay. So my room's looking not too bad now. It's looking quite nice. Those fans are still there. They haven't been put up the attic yet. That's going to have to be a job for later or tomorrow or something. But overall, it's looking pretty good. Zara's room, again, tidy-ish. She's now in Bella's room anyway. Bella's room, looking pretty good. Will's done his room independently. Now let's go downstairs and just push the vacuum cleaner around a little bit more, shall we? Just do by the front door. If you've seen other videos, I really normally like to do the top of the rug and then flip the rug and then do the bottom of the rug, and that kind of agitates the dirt out, and then you can move the rug and then vacuum up the dirt that you've pushed out and then vacuum again. That is not what I'm doing today. Today, I'm just getting as much done as I can in an imperfect way. Something else I always really like to do on the weekend actually is clean my desk, and I'm not doing that in this video purely because I did it yesterday. And again, if I just make that part of my weekend reset, that my desk is clean and clear, I keep it reasonably clutter-free because I just can't think if there's clutter everywhere. But if I give it a dust so it's actually clean on the weekend, then I know I'm good for the week. This is the kids' playroom, which then converts into our eldest's bedroom when he comes home. The sofa bed goes back in there. And anyway, just super quick, literally just doing the floor in here. I'm barely going to move anything at all. I don't have much time at all. So I'm just going to use the couple of minutes I do have to just do this little bit of the floor. And then we're going to have to move on because time is a ticking. The power hour is coming to a close. Into the living room and just going over this big fluffy rug. I was quite adamant when we bought this rug that we wanted a fluffy rug, but not so fluffy that I couldn't vacuum it, because in the last house we had one that wasn't fluffy. It wasn't just fluffy anyway, it was positively hairy, so I couldn't actually vacuum it, and that was a real pain. So this one is a good length, and if you are shopping for rugs, have that in the back of your mind, like, how am I going to flip and clean this thing? Is it too long? If the fluff and it becomes hair, then you can't vacuum it and you will be questioning your life choices. Trust me, I've been there. And then we're just going to very quickly do the kitchen, because honestly, we do a quick post-mealtime reset every evening because the children just love throwing food on the floor apparently. So we do under the table in here every day anyway. So I'm just kind of going over this little area by the back door where people have been walking over, because that's it for our power hour. Thanks so much for joining me. Keep cleaning and resetting with me on screen now. Join me inside of my Organised Life Club, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.